So, you want to buy a superyacht. Most people think owning a superyacht means buying a beautiful boat, hiring a captain, putting on some designer sunglasses, and sailing off into a perfect Mediterranean sunset. You imagine yourself hosting Hollywood celebrities, escaping the tax man, and displaying the ultimate symbol of human achievement. But in reality, a superyacht is not a boat. It is a floating sovereign state of financial self-destruction. It is a highly volatile, depreciating asset that requires a constant, multi-million-dollar life support system just to prevent it from literally dissolving in salt water. To the average billionaire, a superyacht is the ultimate trophy. It is the only luxury asset that cannot be ignored. You can't park your $100 million Manhattan penthouse in front of your rival's hotel in Cannes, but you can park a 200-foot mega yacht there. However, once you sign that purchase contract, you are not buying freedom. You are buying a business where you are the only client, where your employees hold all the operational leverage, and where the government has designed an entire web of taxes and regulations specifically to bleed you dry. Today, we are looking at the blueprint of the ultimate wealth destroyer. We will dissect the brutal reality of the 10% rule, calculate the astronomical cost of a professional crew, expose the predatory parking fees of the world's most exclusive marinas, and pull back the curtain on the offshore loopholes of the Cayman Islands and Malta. Before you can even begin to destroy your wealth, you have to buy the asset. For our case study today, we aren't looking at a modest weekend cruiser. We are looking at a true, mid-sized custom superyacht, a 164-foot pedigree vessel built by a premier European shipyard like Benetti or Fedship. Brand new, this vessel will cost you roughly $50 million. Now, your financial advisor, who is likely crying in his office, will warn you about the golden 10% rule of yachting. This is an old industry rule of thumb, which states that the annual operating cost of a yacht will equal roughly 10% of its initial purchase price. According to this formula, you should budget $5 million a year to keep your toy running. But here is the first secret your yacht broker won't tell you. The 10% rule is a myth. It's a headline designed to make the math look digestible. In the modern economic landscape, rising inflation, severe crew shortages, soaring insurance premiums, and astronomical fuel prices have pushed the real annual operating cost of a mid-sized superyacht to between 12% and 15% of its value every single year. Let's translate that abstract number into actual, real-world math. If we take the conservative 12% figure, your $50 million yacht will cost you $500,000 every single month, $16,438 every single day, $684 every single hour. Every hour of every day, whether you are on the boat or sleeping in your penthouse thousands of miles away, your yacht is vaporizing $684. If you leave it sitting idle at a dock for 6 months, it will still cost you $3 million. But where exactly does this mountain of cash go? The single largest fixed cost of running a superyacht is the people. You cannot operate a 164-foot, 500 gross ton steel vessel by yourself. You need a highly trained, professional crew. For a yacht of this size, you will require a full-time, year-round crew of at least 11 to 13 people. These aren't temporary summer workers. They are highly certified maritime professionals. Let's look at the payroll blueprint. First is the captain. They hold unlimited tonnage licenses and are responsible for the safety of a multi-million-dollar asset and the lives on board. A qualified captain for a 50-meter yacht commands a salary of at least $180,000 to $220,000 a year. Second is the chief engineer. This is the most critical person on the boat. They keep the generators running, the stabilizers working, and the complex water filtration systems online. A good engineer will cost you $140,000 to $160,000 a year. Third is the professional chef. If your guests are paying multi-million-dollar attention to detail, they expect Michelin star quality meals 24/7. This will cost you $90,000 to $120,000 a year. Add in a chief stewardess, 2 junior stews, a chief mate, and 3 deckhands, and your basic salary payroll quickly reaches $850,000 a year. But gross wages are just the beginning. Under the Maritime Labor Convention of 2006, yacht owners are legally required to provide comprehensive health insurance, paid vacation rotation, crew uniform budgets, food provisions, and repatriation flights back to their home countries. When you add employer Social Security contributions, crew training certifications, and recruitment agency fees, your total personnel budget for a 50-meter yacht easily balloons to $1.5 million to $1.8 million every single year. You are essentially running a luxury boutique hotel where the staff-to-guest ratio is almost 2-to-1, and you are paying for all of their living expenses 365 days a year. Now that your crew is hired, you actually want to take the boat somewhere. But parking a 164-foot piece of steel is not like parking a Mercedes. This is where you encounter the brutal economics of spatial monopolies, dockage and berthing fees. If you want to park your yacht in premium Mediterranean marinas like Monaco, Porto Cervo, Ibiza, or Saint-Tropez during the peak summer season, you will pay an absolute fortune. High-end marinas charge on a per-foot, per-night basis. During a major event like the Monaco Grand Prix, a single night's slip can cost anywhere from $5,000 to $12,000. Even if you secure an annual contract to guarantee a spot, berthing fees for a 50-meter vessel in a prime location will easily cost you $300,000 to $500,000 a year. And that is before the marina charges you separate premium rates for high-voltage electricity hookups, freshwater, and waste removal. And then you have to turn on the engines. A 164-foot motor yacht cruising at a modest speed of 12 knots consumes roughly 150 to 200 gallons of marine diesel per hour. At average marine fuel prices, that is approximately $800 to $1,000 of fuel burned every single hour you are moving. If you use your yacht for a standard 500 hours of cruising a year, your main engine fuel bill will be $400,000 to $500,000. But remember, you also have generators. A superyacht's air conditioning, stabilizers, and luxury electronics must run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even when parked at anchor. Your generators alone will burn another $50,000 of fuel a year just to keep the champagne cold and the master's suite at a crisp 68 degrees. Add in a comprehensive marine insurance policy to protect your hull against physical damage and third-party liabilities. This will run between 0.8% and 1.2% of the hull's value annually. For your $50 million Benetti, that is an automatic $400,000 to $600,000 annual premium paid to Lloyd's of London underwriters. And if you dare to sail into the Caribbean during the Atlantic hurricane season, your underwriters will hit you with massive surcharges or require you to physically move the vessel south of the 12th parallel by June 1st. When you look at the transom of almost every superyacht in the Mediterranean or the Caribbean, you will notice they almost never fly the American flag or the French flag. Instead, they fly the flags of the Cayman Islands, Malta, or the Marshall Islands. This is not a coincidence. It is the core of the secret corporate blueprint of yacht ownership. If you register a $50 million yacht in the United States, you will immediately face a 1.5% federal import tariff, plus state sales and use taxes that can easily add another 6% to 10% to your purchase price. On a $50 million vessel, that is a $4 million tax bill before the boat even touches the water. To legally bypass this, Billionaires set up a Cayman Islands exempted company, a paper special purpose vehicle, SPV, that owns the yacht. Because the Cayman Islands is a tax-neutral jurisdiction, there is zero sales tax, zero corporate tax, and zero asset tax on the vessel. By flying the Cayman flag, which is part of the prestigious British Red Ensign Group, the yacht is legally treated as a visiting foreign vessel when it enters U.S. waters. The owner applies for a U.S. cruising permit. This permit allows the yacht to cruise American waters indefinitely, completely avoiding all import tariffs and state use taxes, provided the boat leaves U.S. waters for just 15 days once a year. Meanwhile, in Europe, owners face a staggering 20% value-added tax, VAT, on the purchase of any pleasure vessel. To dodge this, they utilize the Malta commercial leasing structure, or register the vessel under a commercial charter flag in Malta. By registering the yacht as a commercial charter vessel rather than a private pleasure craft, the owner achieves two massive tax advantages. They are completely exempt from paying VAT on the initial multi-million-dollar purchase price of the yacht. They are legally allowed to purchase marine fuel tax-free, VAT-free. In Europe, this reduces their astronomical fuel bills by up to 20%. But this financial magic comes with a catch. Under international maritime law, a commercially flagged charter yacht must meet strict safety codes, undergo rigorous annual surveys by classification societies, and be made genuinely available for public charter for a minimum number of weeks each year. If you, the actual billionaire owner, want to use your own boat for a summer holiday, you cannot just hop on board. You must legally charter the boat from your own corporate SPV at full market rate and pay the local VAT on that charter fee to the maritime authorities. You are literally paying rent to yourself just to stay compliant with offshore tax laws. And now, we must address the ultimate silent wealth killer of yacht ownership: depreciation. Unlike prime real estate or rare art, a superyacht is a rapidly depreciating machine. The moment you take delivery of a brand new $50 million custom build, its market value drops by an automatic 10% to 15% in the first year alone. Without even starting the engines, you have vaporized $7.5 million of capital. Over the next 3 years, the vessel will continue to lose roughly 7% to 8% of its value annually. Let's look at the final, brutal ledger. If you take $50 million and invest it in the S&P 500, in 5 years, you will likely have around $75 million. If you take that same $50 million and buy a super yacht, in 5 years, your yacht's market value will have depreciated to roughly $32 million. You will have spent at least $25 million in cash on crew, fuel, berthing, and maintenance. Your total net cost for 5 years of yachting is $43 million. From a purely financial perspective, owning a super yacht is complete and utter madness. It is the most efficient system ever designed for turning a billionaire into a multi-millionaire. But for the ultra-high net worth individual, the spreadsheet doesn't matter, because a super yacht is not an investment. It is the ultimate luxury premium. It is the purchase of absolute privacy, unmatched status, and the ability to dictate your own geography on the waters of the world. And for those who have conquered the business world, standing on the sun deck of a floating palace that you built from nothing, that feeling is worth every single dollar that you burn to keep it afloat. If you want to understand the blueprints behind the world's most expensive empires and assets, subscribe to the channel. Let us know in the comments below. If you had the wealth, would you buy a super yacht or would you stick to chartering? We'll see you in the next video.